Right, Etsy ads, are they worth it? Are they not? That's what we're going to find out in today's video. So I've had my Etsy ad budget set at $10 a day since the start of January, and in this video I'm going to break down how much I've spent, the return, and everything I've learned from using Etsy ads for around 6 weeks. Okay, so here are my Etsy ad results after 6 weeks of testing. As you can see, 31st of December, 1st of Jan, all the way up until 19th of February. So this is about 6 weeks worth of data here. And as you can see, I've spent $289 on ads and returned $628. So that's a return on ad spend of just over 2. So it's not the greatest when you add in production costs and Etsy fees, but I will reveal the exact profit later in the video. But first, I'd just like to go over everything I've learned after spending $289 on ads, because although the return on ad spend wasn't the greatest, paying for ads isn't always about the money, which might sound bizarre, but when you pay for ads, you get data, and often the data that you get from paying for the ads is more valuable than the money that you make from the ads. So what you often do with data that you get from ads, you implement it and you adjust what works for your shop and fix what doesn't. Okay, so moving on to what I learnt in this little experiment. So as you can see, my budget was set at $10 a day, but you can see on the ad spend, it was pretty much all over the place and it never really hit the $10 mark. So as you can see, the lowest spend was $158 and the highest spend was $934, I think. So if you're thinking of doing Etsy ads and you think a $10 budget might be too high, $15 budget, $20 budget might be too high, you've got to remember Etsy isn't going to spend that full amount unless there's a huge demand for your product and you're getting a lot of clicks. So I would recommend going for a $10 budget over a $1, $2 budget, for example, because what you'll find is Etsy won't spend the full amount and you'll get the data a lot quicker. So another thing I've learned with Etsy ads is you have to give the ads time to optimize and find the right buyers. So if we look at my views from the ads, I got 68,800 views. And as you can see, the views are trending upwards. So we started off getting 900 views, 900 views, 1100 views, 1000 views. But then I left the ads running for 6 weeks and you can see the views are getting closer to 2000 the longer they're running. That is because Etsy, after running the ads for so long, they know who's clicking on the ads and who the ads should be shown to. So a lot of people, when they start ads, you know, they might run them for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. They see that Etsy spent $5 here, $5 there. They've got no ads. They're scared they're losing money and they turn the ads off. But you really just need to bite the bullet and let the ads run, let them do their thing and see what the data is saying. So another thing with Etsy ads, which is really good, is you can click detailed stats on a listing and then you can see what keywords are being typed in that are leading to the listing being found. You can see the amount of views the keyword's bringing in, the amount of clicks it's bringing in, if the click-through rate's high, if it's low. And the best part about this is if you see a word in the keyword list that doesn't quite fit your listing, it's not really relevant, you can actually toggle it on and off here under relevant keywords. So the longer you leave your listings running, you know, it collects more keyword data and you can refine your listing over time and really niche down the listing and work out exactly who you should be targeting with these keywords. And a good thing is as well, if you see a keyword that's got a high click-through rate, you can use that in future listings, in your title, in your description, in your tags, and try and retarget that keyword. So for example, this keyword at the top here got 2600 views and 34 clicks, which means it's got a high click-through rate. So in my future SEO, I might consider targeting this keyword because it's got high views, a high click-through rate. So if I target that in my SEO, then my listings should, in theory, naturally rank higher because they're getting clicked on and people want to see it. So you've got to think, when you're paying for Etsy ads, you're essentially collecting data which you can then use to refine your shop over time. So you've got to think of it like Etsy is a lot of trial and error, and that's why a lot of people fail with it, because they make a listing, they set the listing, and then they forget about the listing. But really what you've got to do is you've got to adjust it over time, find out what works, find out what keywords are being typed in to make your listing appear, and then target that keyword again and refine your listing over time. So another really useful thing with Etsy ads is you can see the click-through rate on a listing. Now, this is a great indicator of how well your thumbnail's working, how appealing your design is, if your title's good, and if the price is right. So if you notice a listing with a low click-through rate, then you know that you either need to change your price, you need to change your title, you need to change your thumbnail, or you just need a new design altogether. So if you were to find this out organically, it would have taken you months to gather this data. But if you just set your ad budget at $5, $10 a day, you can find out what works and what doesn't work a lot quicker. So you've got to think of it, ads, they're not just there to make you money, they're there to save you time and grow your shop a lot quicker. So the top two listings that performed the best for me were these two here. The top one had a return on ad spend of 1.79 with a $196 spend, and the second best performing listing had a return on ad spend of 4.25, but it spent nowhere near as much as the top listing did. And you might think, why am I still advertising a listing if the return on ad spend is only 1.79? And that is because me advertising this listing, although it's only got 13 orders paid, I'll tell you now it's got about 40 orders organically. And I truly think that running ads to this listing boosted it organically, and it's now got the bestseller badge. So what I'm doing with this listing is I'm taking the keywords from the detailed stats that are getting a high click-through rate, and every week I'm just slowly but surely adjusting this listing until it is properly optimized. And because I've paid to get this data and get these sales, like I say, it's now got the bestseller badge and it is ranked organically on Etsy. So it should, all being well, get sales for many months to come. Another thing I could do with this data is I could make variations of the designs now that I know that these two designs, particularly this second one down with the return on ad spend of 4.25, they have the potential to work and be scaled. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to experiment with similar designs and maybe explore the possibility of putting these designs on different products and seeing how they perform. You know, like I say, it's all about testing, advertising, getting data, and then optimizing over time. So before I reveal exactly how much I made from my little Etsy ad experiment, I do just want to show you the free Skool community that I've recently launched. So we're currently at 118 members. I will be turning it into a paid community, probably at 150 members or so. Haven't really decided yet, but if you want to join this, I will leave a link in the description of this video. It's full of modules, full of lessons, full of free resources, and you can get direct access to me if you just want to drop me a message on Skool. So yeah, it's a good place to come and meet people who are all interested in print on demand, Etsy, Shopify, anything like that. So if you're interested, I'll leave a link. So moving on to the overall profit from a ad spend of $289. So on average, depending where I'm shipping to, my items cost around $10 to fulfill, which means that I would have spent about $240 fulfilling these 24 orders, and I would have spent around $65 on Etsy ads, meaning fulfillment cost, fees, and ad spend, I spent about $590 to $600 and I got $628 back, which on the surface seems absolutely pointless to spend $600 and get $628 back. But like I said before, that one listing, it has ranked very well organically and got the bestseller badge because I boosted how quickly it got views and sales through ads. I also was able to optimize it quicker, find out what was working on the keyword side, adjusted the thumbnail based on the click rate, and yeah, got that listing ranked very quickly organically. So to me, the data that I got back from these ads is more valuable than the small amount of money I made, because I now have a better understanding of what works and what doesn't. So overall, I think spending $289 on Etsy ads was worth it, and I will be experimenting with them more in the future and yeah, just testing and optimizing as I go. So yeah, if you like this breakdown, then let me know, as I've just turned ads on for a bunch of new listings I've made. So if you want to see the results of them too, let me know and I'll make a follow-up.